Hey there, Tiffany Thomas with wealthytiffany.com, and in today's video I'm going to talk about how real estate investing has changed my life and kind of give you a timeline on how I've been able to purchase 4 properties by the age of 37. And before we dive in, if you are ready for financial freedom right now, comment freedom below in the comments. And if you are serious about fast tracking your financial freedom, click the link below this video in the description and I can help you do that. All right, you guys, let's dive in and talk about how real estate has drastically changed my life. And I kind of just want to go over a timeline on how I've been able to invest in 4 different properties by age 37 as a single woman by myself. Real estate investing has changed my life so much for the better. One of the things that I was able to do was quit my full-time 9-to-5 job that I did not like at the end. I was there for a while, liked it in the beginning, but toward the end, I honestly did not like going into work. I had real estate properties that were creating cash flow for me, and I also had a savings and money invested in the stock market. But honestly, if I didn't have those properties, there's no way I would have been able to quit my full-time job and not immediately get another full-time job. So having real estate made my life so much better because I did not like going into work and it was really making me sick. So having those properties created that freedom for me to be able to do that. And also I started living my own dream instead of someone else's dream. I wasn't working for someone else and building up their dream, but I actually had these properties that were helping me to create my own dream, my own life, the way I wanted to be living it, because I would rather be managing my own properties and creating income that way than working for someone else. So that's just kind of a mindset shift that I had when I started investing in real estate, that I thought, you know what, I would much rather be taking care of my properties, finding new tenants, and different things like that than going into a 9-to-5 job and working for someone else and building up their dream and asking for vacation time, you know, when I want to go to my nephew's birthday party or take a trip that I want to go on with my friends. I don't have to ask for that time off. And by having these real estate investment properties, I've been able to do that, to create that freedom for myself. So that's just a huge shift in my life. And I want to just kind of go over a timeline on when I've purchased the properties and what type of properties and some things that I wish I would have done differently and some things that I did right, to give you ideas on how you can do this yourself if you are interested in real estate. And the reason that I'm sharing this video is because I got some questions from someone that follows me on Instagram, and I wanted to give these answers to her in a video rather than trying to type them out in a quick message on Instagram, so that she can actually see the full picture on how I've been able to do this for myself. So the first property that I purchased was actually back in 2005, and I was looking for a property to purchase. I had lived in Salt Lake for a while and was renting beforehand and decided, you know what, it's time for me to purchase a property. And I can find a property that even if I didn't want to stay in this area, that I could actually just rent this property out later and move somewhere else. And if I didn't want to manage the property, I could still keep it and get a property manager. So those were kind of my thoughts. And I also thought, I want a place where I can have roommates because I like having roommates help pay the mortgage for me. That doesn't bother me. I find, you know, that's kind of a win-win. I provide a nice place for them to live and a good roommate to live with, hopefully. And they help pay my mortgage. So I like that situation. So those were kind of, you know, a few things that I was looking for in my criteria. And I also decided, since I am a single woman and I'm not so much of a handyman or a handy person, I wanted probably a townhouse to live in, just so that I didn't have that extra maintenance of trying to fix sprinklers or having to mow the lawn or replace my roof. All these different things that go into having a single family home. I wanted just something simple that wouldn't require that much maintenance or upkeep. So I actually started looking for a townhome, and about the same time, the girl that owned the place where I was living, she had told me she was going to sell the place. When she had told us that, I thought, I could buy this place And I looked at a few other places and just felt good about buying the place where I was already living. So that worked out very well. It was very convenient. I didn't have to pick up and move, even though I bought a place. So I purchased that place from her, and I kept the roommates that I currently had, which worked out perfectly. That was the first place that I purchased, and that was back in 2005 when I was 25 years old. And a few years had gone by, about 10 years to be honest, and I thought, I really want to purchase another property, and I want it to be strictly a rental investment property. I have a friend who invests in real estate, and I had seen the success he was having, and also a previous boss that was very successful in investing in real estate as well. So I kind of asked them a lot of questions about it and did some research online and decided to purchase my first investment property only. So I wasn't going to move into this place. It would just be strictly a rental. And I wanted to start with something small based on my skills, my personality. So I decided to look for a townhome or a condo, and I looked at a few different places, ended up finding a condo in the complex where I used to live when I first moved to Salt Lake. It's the door that's right next to the place where I used to live. Kind of funny, but I really liked that because I had liked living in that complex and I was familiar with the area. So I decided to put an offer in on the place, and they came back and counter-offered. And I came up a little bit because I had run the numbers beforehand. I knew what I was looking for, and I knew how much wiggle room I had, how much I felt comfortable with increasing my price. I went up a little bit, and then they came back, they countered again, and I thought, no, I don't want it. Like, if you're not going to come in at this price, then I don't need it. It's not like I'm rushing to move into a place. It's just a rental property, and there's other properties available. So they actually came back and said, oh, don't give up on us yet. So they ended up agreeing to my offer, and we had closed on the place. So I purchased that property, and I'm going to talk about the lessons I learned at the end. So my third property that I purchased was another townhome, and this property I wanted to move into. So I looked in the same area, and my two properties were pretty close to each other. So I wanted to stay in the same area so that I could manage the properties pretty easily. And I went to a few different open houses and found a few different properties that I really liked, but ended up putting in an offer on one place on a townhome. And this was in the summer of 2016. And I actually closed on the place 2 days after my birthday, so happy birthday to me. I bought a new place for myself. And I ended up moving into this place, and I left my old roommates at my old place and filled my spot with another girl, and got one roommate when I first moved in to my new place. And after she had moved out, she had been here, I think it was about 6 months. I thought, Tiffany, you can live with two other roommates, like you don't mind doing this, and it'll pay for your mortgage, pay more for your mortgage. So I ended up doing that, getting two roommates instead of just one, and things were good. I've been really blessed to have really good roommates, which I know not everyone has that situation, so I do feel blessed about that. So I had purchased my third property, and I was really liking real estate and knew I wanted to get another property. So I ended up getting a property in 2018 when I was 37. Actually, it was before my birthday. My birthday is in the summer. And this was a single family home that has 4 bedrooms, and I decided to rent it to single girls. I know a lot of single girls, and I can rent out the place for more money by renting it through each individual room. So I decided to do that, rent to single girls. And you know, I decided to buy a single family home this time just because with condos or townhomes, there's going to be an HOA, a homeowners association, and they have rules and regulations. They're called the CC&Rs. And, you know, sometimes they don't allow for rentals, or they have different restrictions that just aren't conducive to renting. And although I like the simplicity of investing in a townhome or a condo, because there is definitely less maintenance, you do have to pay that HOA fee each month. which can go up over time, of course. So I wanted to try a single family property, and it has been more work. There's a big lawn that needs to be taken care of, so I got a lawn care company that does that. But there's, just some extra things. There's, the sprinklers that needed to be adjusted, and I have to make sure the timing is right on those, and just a few different things. But all of my experiences have been really good, and I know that's not the case for everyone. But I feel like, once you get started, things can get easier and easier, and you know what to look for and what not to look for, what to avoid. So you can really be just kind of more educated on what you're investing in and do it better as you go along. But the thing is, you really need to get started in order to do it. And you don't need to have all of the information. Yes, you should be doing your homework. You should make sure you're going to be creating that cash flow if that's what you're looking for. And decide on your investing strategy. I'm a buy and hold real estate investor. So I'm not doing fix and flip. I'm not buying old rundown properties and remodeling them and then selling them right away. I'm buying a property that I can have people move in right away, that it's a good property in good condition and a good location. And then I plan to hold that property for the long term. And I will just continue to rent that property out. And that's another thing with renting to singles, is you never have a full property empty at once. You only have one room empty, so you're still collecting rent for that time that room is empty. And you're just looking to fill that one spot, so you're not going in and having to clean the whole house every time, which kind of makes it nice. So those are just a few reasons why I choose to rent to single people. And like I said, I chose females just because I'm more comfortable meeting females at the property and showing them the place than I am males. All right, just to do a quick recap. When I was 25, I purchased my first property, which was a townhome, and I had 2 roommates living with me helping to pay the mortgage. And then the second property I purchased was when I was actually 34. It was in 2015, but I hadn't turned 35 yet. And that was a condo. And then the third property that I purchased was another townhome, and that was in 2016, just right after, 2 days after I had turned 36. And then my fourth property was a single family home, and I purchased that in 2018, and I was 37, so I hadn't turned 38 yet. So I had 4 properties by the time I was 37, and I had purchased those all on my own. I had used savings. I had saved up for a down payment on those properties, and actually my last property, I had cashed out some stocks that I had in the stock market because I had invested in the stock market a while ago and decided I would rather have that money in real estate than in the stock market. So I cashed out my stocks and was able to put that toward my down payment, which was super helpful. So, there's just different ways to go about investing in real estate. So pick a strategy that you are comfortable with, and you can always change later, but just start with something, get started now, because that is one of the things that I would have changed with investing in real estate is I would have started earlier and I would have purchased more properties. I did my homework. I looked for what I wanted in a property. And, I ran the numbers, how much the purchase price would be. I made sure to include how much the taxes were going to be each month, and the insurance, and if there was an HOA fee, and if the place would be empty at all, and depending on how old it was, if I was going to need to fix a few things up to kind of update it. I took all of these costs into account to make sure it was a property that I felt comfortable with, that I was getting a good return on my investment. And it's kind of funny, when I purchased that, my first and second property, the market hadn't gone crazy yet. And I was able to get a really good cash on cash return with those properties. But now that the market is a lot more crazy in Utah, I am not looking for as high of a cash on cash return right now, because I wouldn't find it. There's no way I could find the same deals I found in 2005 right now in 2019. the market has changed so much. So looking back on that, I just wish I would have invested more and invested earlier. You guys, if you're looking to invest in real estate, I would say get started now. Like, see what's out there. Talk to some real estate agents. And I have the Utah Real Estate app downloaded on my phone, and I just, when I'm bored, I pull it out and I check it and I see what's happening in the market. And another thing I wish I would have done better is to really think about the math. When you are renting out, let's say you're renting out one room and you're renting it for $500 a month, and you aren't finding someone as soon as you would like, so it might be empty for a month, you're going to have to think, okay, I'm going to lose out on $500 for that month. So you may want to drop that rent to $450. And even though it's $50 less, if you leave that room empty, you're missing out on that full $500. So kind of, think about the numbers, think what makes sense, and don't just think, oh, I can't drop my price that low. That room is too good, or something like that. Like, be practical and think, what's the best thing for me to do based on the numbers? That makes a big difference. And you kind of want to price your rooms. I like to price them in the middle range, because if you price them too low, you're going to get people that don't necessarily pay on time or won't pay you. And if you price them too high, then you won't get as many people interested in your room. But if you're kind of in that middle range, then you're still getting good tenants and you're getting more of them. Another thing I wish I would have done differently is, when someone gets behind on rent, just let them go. Just kick them out immediately. Don't let them continue to stay there, because they will continue to get behind. And I had one lady that owed me a lot in late fees, and I waived some of the late fees. But she had missed rent. She paid late, kind of toward the beginning of the contract. And hindsight's 20/20, but I should have just let her go in the beginning. Another thing is, I don't like people paying me by check. So I actually use Venmo or Cash App. I've even used PayPal. There's also a free website called cozy.co, COZY.co, that you can manage all of your leases and lease addendums, and they can pay you directly through that website. And it is free. It's about 7 business days to get the rent money. If you did want it sooner, within 1 or 2 business days, you can pay an extra small fee for that. But that's a really good resource, and it's a great way to keep track of all of your expenses and everything that's going on with your different rental properties. A few things that I did right is I found a handyman in the beginning, so that if something did go wrong with the property, I wasn't freaking out thinking, oh my gosh, who am I going to call? Also, I set up a contract with each of my tenants, even my roommates, so that was in place. And when I'm collecting the deposit, I get the deposit first, and then I take down the ad. I had some people that changed their mind and wanted their deposit back, but it's non-refundable if they don't move in. So I'm glad I did that. Also, for most of my renters, I've done a background and a credit check on them, which I'm really glad I did that, because I've turned down people before. I try not to rent people with credit scores under 600. And in actually purchasing the property, with my first couple of properties, I got good faith estimates from different lenders. So I looked to see who had the lowest rate, who had the lowest closing costs, because there are different rates out there. There are different closing costs associated with the lenders. So really find the best deal for you. Don't just accept the first one that you see. Hopefully this has been helpful for you guys, and this isn't me bragging by any means. I'm just showing you what I've been able to accomplish on my own, and the way that I've been able to do it, and the reasons why I did it my way. And you can kind of see things that worked well for me, things that didn't, so you can do it better than me. And honestly, investing in real estate has changed my life. It's given me that financial freedom that I desire. And I am lean financially free right now because of real estate, basically, because it's creating that cash flow for me. And yes, I do support investing in the stock market as well. I do both of those. But honestly, the real estate has given me that cash flow, and I don't mind managing the properties. If that's not something you're interested in, you can always get a property manager and just make sure to deduct out the percentage that they would be taking when you're running your numbers, so you can make sure it's still a good investment for you. So think about what you are interested in, what you really want to be doing, and if real estate investing could help you accomplish that, because it's totally doable. I really didn't know anything beforehand, and I just talked to people that had been doing it. I had done my research and just did it. Like, I just started. And not everything's going to be perfect, but like I said, you can learn along the way and become better and better at it. But you just have to start. So if you guys found this video helpful, please hit the like button, and make sure to share this video with someone else who may be interested in investing in real estate. And if you guys have other ideas about content you want me to create for you, please put that in the comments below. I would love to create content that you want to see. And if you already are investing in real estate, comment below and tell me that you are. Or if you're going to start, I want to hear that as well. Please hit the subscribe button to subscribe to my YouTube channel. That will really help me out. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks.